Am I wrong for wearing white to a wedding and having an entire bottle of wine spilled on me? Recently, I went to my uncle's wedding. Him and his now wife are in their 40s and they're very well established and well off. Okay, to give you some context, her engagement ring was worth over $50,000. Yeah, like really well off. I cannot even describe to you how insanely beautiful this wedding was. It was held at this giant mansion and it was a pretty intimate event. There was only about 40 of us there. Let me tell you, I lost track of the number of courses of food we ended up getting. It was insane. The florals everywhere. And you know how expensive flowers are. That is one of the most expensive parts of a wedding. This is a very important point, so listen up. They wanted absolutely no gifts. They had no gift registry. They wanted nothing for their honeymoon fund. All they wanted was for everyone to dress very nice, very black tie. They, put so much effort into this wedding and they just wanted the photographs to come out beautifully and they wanted everyone to be dressed super formal. So they said that instead of putting money into a gift for them, put money into whatever you were going to wear to the wedding. And I was fine with that because if you know me, you know I love a good outfit. Here's the part where maybe I messed up. I don't know. You have to tell me. But I decided that I wanted to go with a black dress. I just think that that's so timeless, so classic. And my mom and I decided to go shopping together. And I was trying on all of these black floor-length gowns. And my mom was like, I hate them. I hate them all. Kelsey, we're not going to a funeral, okay? We're going to a wedding. You cannot have just this black dress. I don't agree with her. I thought they were beautiful, but if you know, you know. Sometimes you just got to agree with your mom. It's easier. My mom and I end up compromising on this dress that's beautiful. It's a black floor-length gown, but it has white lace appliques on the top and the bottom of the dress that just softens it up a little bit. It made it a little less, as my mom called it, gothic. Mom, like, do you see, like, I don't give gothic vibes, I don't think, but apparently to my mom, an all black dress was going to do that. So this dress was a little bit in the middle and my mom actually loved it. I loved it. It was a black dress still, okay? It just had some, white, almost ivory appliques. Okay, flash forward back to the wedding. We were having the main course of food, and there was a different wine that was served with each course. The main course was this really nice red wine. I'm sitting there enjoying my meal, and all of a sudden, I feel my shoulder starting to get wet. A server drops an entire freshly uncorked bottle of red wine all over me. And it wasn't like it just tumbled off. It literally just fell over on the serving tray that they were holding and it just started guzzling out. And you would think that the server would see that the wine was spilling and then be like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, move it. No, the server just continued to let the wine continue to run until I jumped up. So it was probably 7/8 of the bottle of this red wine that spilled on me, which is kind of what made me a little suspicious. Why would the server have just kept letting the wine drip down on me if it wasn't intentional? But I was like, oh, maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they didn't notice. It's loud, it's busy, they're working, but I don't know. But after this mishap, my uncle actually had that server removed from the wedding altogether. This wasn't the first mishap that this server had made. Apparently, there was a full tray of champagne and the server dropped that and it shattered everywhere. So my uncle was like, you know what? First mistake, understandable. Second, gotta go. Actually, my new aunt was also furious about the situation and ended up contacting the company, and the company did end up paying to dry clean my dress because that dress was soaked. All the white applique was maroon, okay? Cue the Taylor Swift song. So at this point, just based on the reactions of my uncle and my new aunt, I'm thinking that it was totally just an unfortunate mishap, but maybe not. My cousin was sitting on the opposite end of the table as me, and she said that she saw the server look down at the fallen over wine bottle as it was spilling all over me and not move, not do anything to fix it. Didn't even have a look of shock on their face. Sometimes people have the freeze response when something happens. It wasn't like the waitress was and didn't know what to do. She was just staring at it my cousin was somebody told that server to do that. I'm sure of it. I was like, what are you talking about? I did not get any inkling of any bad vibes that entire day from anyone. It was really just a beautiful ceremony. The reception was drama-free. And my cousin was like, well, probably because you were wearing white to the wedding. I was like, I wore white to the what? What are you talking about? She's like, yeah, you had white details on your dress. Somebody was probably really upset about that. Ooh, oh no. I told her, listen, I know the white at wedding rules. I would have never worn a white dress. This was a black dress. It just had white details. It looked nothing like a wedding dress. If I even for a second thought that there would be an issue with that dress, I obviously wouldn't have worn it. And my cousin was like, I don't know, like, I know it was a black dress, but some people might have thought it was inappropriate for a wedding. Are people that strict about the no white at weddings rules? Like, I just thought I wasn't allowed to wear a white dress. Like, I wouldn't have worn even like a pastel dress that was close to white. I literally wore a black dress. Now I feel so bad. Like, was I in the wrong for wearing a black dress with white lace appliques to a wedding? Also, do you think that spill was on purpose or not? Maybe I should call my aunt and just figure out if she was upset, because obviously she's the bride, her opinion matters, but I truly am so confused. I don't know. Was I the villain here? I didn't even think there was a villain. I just thought it was a simple mistake, but maybe I was in the wrong. For peace of mind, I knew the only thing I could do to sleep at night was call my new aunt and see if she was upset, because her opinion is really the only one that matters as the bride. I called her up and I told her the situation and I apologized. I said that I actually had no idea that might have been an issue. If I did, I never would have worn it. She just started laughing, like straight up laughing. She told me that she actually had a confession that she wasn't planning on telling me to keep things drama free, but now that I was specifically calling and asking and I felt bad about the situation, she was gonna tell me. She told me that she had a lot of issues that day with what people were wearing, but I was not one of them. When she said that, it was almost like the best day of my life. I felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. She said that she asked people to dress formal and so many people showed up in short cocktail dresses, which was not the dress code. She said that she had absolutely no issue with my dress whatsoever. She never thought twice about it. And for all of you people wanting to see it, this was a photo of the dress. Like, it's a black dress. It is a black dress with white accents on it, okay? Not a full-on white wedding gown. No one was out there mistaking me for the bride, I promise you. And she told me something that absolutely shocked me. And it was that wine spill wasn't an accident, but it wasn't who anyone expected would have planned it. Apparently, after the server spilled the wine all over me, my uncle was furious and went over to the server and asked them what happened. And that's when the server was really confused, because they thought that that's what they were supposed to do. They were instructed to do so. Apparently, the bride and groom wanted them to. My uncle was like, what do you mean the bride and groom wanted you to spill a whole bottle of wine on my knees? No, we did not want that. So my uncle says, who? Who is the person who told you? That is what me and my wife wanted you to do to my knees. The server looks around the reception area and points at my mother. My mother. So my uncle obviously goes immediately to my mom and confronts her and is like, why did you do this? What is going on? Remember how my mom didn't want me to wear black to the wedding? She still wasn't a huge fan of the dress I was wearing, even with the white lace on it. So she just wanted to make sure I never wore it again. I am 26 years old. Since when does my mommy still decide what I can and can't wear? Like, I have my own fashion taste. Also, not to be rude, but you know whose dress was ugly? You could take a guess. My aunt apologized for not telling me. She just said that her and my uncle decided that it was just for the best. They didn't want to create unnecessary drama. They got the dress dry cleaned. It is what it is. And I didn't even know what to do with this news, whether to confront my mother, just keep it to myself and let it go. But then I thought, I can literally never let anything go. Ironically, my mom is throwing a big birthday party for herself next week, and I know exactly what I'm wearing.
I think it's finally time for a little story time about why I dropped my best friend. Just to let you guys know, me and this girl were friends for like 5 to 6 years. Last year, my sophomore year in college, something traumatic happened to me and affected my entire life. I was being affected emotionally and mentally. I reached out to her to tell her what I was going through. I opened up to her and no one else. Me and her are both in college. We go to different colleges, but we live in the same hometown. So whenever we were home, I messaged her to try and hang out. But obviously there were times where we couldn't because we were just both so busy. Well, when I opened up to her about what was going on, I asked her if I could see her. I told her I wanted to go to the house. She told me that she was out of town and that when she gets back, maybe we could do something. She told me she was out of town. Why the fuck would I go out of my way to message her, hey, are you back? Like, when are we hanging out? No, I told her this is happening in my life. This is how I'm feeling. I want to see you. And her response was, I want to see you too. I'm out of town. So I sat back and waited for her to text me when she came back in town. I was constantly checking her Snapchat location, watching her private stories, and every single day For like 2 to 3 months, she was hanging out with her boyfriend every single day. Every day. Always with her boyfriend, which, like, I get it. Some girls want to be glued to their boyfriends. Trust me, me too. But I also like to make time for my friends, especially my best friend. Well, anyways, once I saw that she was hanging out with him every day, not reaching out, to me, it felt like she didn't care. So what did I naturally do? Stop talking to her. I stopped reaching out. Once I stopped reaching out, guess what? I never heard from her. Ever again. Ever. Fast forward, months later, I made a TikTok about it. Not about the situation, but I posted a TikTok with a picture of myself saying, we don't hang out anymore, we never see each other, and swipe. And it's like, which is weird because swipe, and then it was a picture of me and her. She was my best friend. I loved her so much, I would do anything for her. That was the TikTok. After I posted that, boom shakalaka, she decided to fucking text me. She texted me this whole paragraph saying like, hey, I don't know if you're consumed by all the attention you're getting, but like, I'm just confused on what that post is about. Like, you ghosted me, like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting here like, am I fucking delusional? Am I delusional? I'm sitting there, I'm with my boyfriend, we're eating, hello, date night. I text her back and I'm like, I don't really think you were there for me. When I needed you the most, you weren't there. I had other people who weren't my best friend doing things I thought you would do as my best friend. And she was like, oh, well, that's a little bit awkward considering you left me undelivered on Snapchat. And I was like, girl, I unadded you. You didn't notice that I unadded you? Hello? You didn't talk to me for 2 to 3 months? Good morning? I'm going back and forth with her and I'm like, I don't think you were there for me. I don't want to be in this friendship anymore. She goes on to tell me, well, I'm sorry, ... I'm sorry that you got sucked into your own world and forgot about reality and the fact that I have a life outside of yours. Oh, bitch got me fucked up. When I read that, I was like, oh, okay, good morning, I'm up, let's get it. I'm like sitting there with my boyfriend. I'm not gonna lie, like, when I get mad, I cry. I was like, because no fucking way you just said that to me. Like, no shit. You have a life. I've seen you live it every day with your fucking boyfriend. Anyways, that kind of caught me off guard, and her attitude completely changed in the text messages. She was like, oh, I'm glad I dodged a bullet. I hope you can find other friends at your disposal. Oh, girl, okay. Good morning? Good morning. She was like the only friend that I had. The fuck do you mean get friends at my disposal? You were my best friend, ho. And you weren't being a best friend. The fact that she says she dodged a bullet, bitch, I dodged a bullet. You're missing out. I was there for you. I loved you. I would do anything for you. That's how I lost and fell out with my best friend. I blocked her on everything. TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, text message, goodbye. I'm not gonna lie, like every now and then, like I'll think about her and then I have to slap myself back into reality and be like, bitch, stand the fuck up. She was not your friend. She was, and then she chose her boyfriend over you and just didn't give a fuck. I need to stop relying on friends to do things that I feel like friends should do. Like, I was going through it. Like, I'm not even being dramatic. Something happened in my life. It's still happening.
Am I the astronaut for skipping my brother's wedding because his fiance excluded my wife from the guest list? My brother James is getting married next month, and what should have been a joyous family event has turned into a nightmare. The issue? His fiance, Emily, didn't invite my wife, Lisa, to the wedding. Emily and Lisa have never been close, but I wouldn't call them enemies either. However, Emily has always seemed a bit cold toward Lisa. The tipping point was last year during a family vacation. Lisa, who's naturally outgoing and bubbly, struck up conversations with everyone, including strangers at the resort. Emily, who's quieter and more reserved, seemed annoyed by this. After the trip, she told James that Lisa was attention-seeking and accused her of making the vacation all about herself. I didn't think much of it at the time, chalking it up to personality differences. Fast forward to now, and Emily has made it clear she doesn't want Lisa at her wedding. And we all know why. When I confronted James about it, he admitted it was Emily's decision and said he didn't want to push back because it's her day. He added that I should respect Emily's wishes and come to the wedding alone for the sake of family harmony. I was stunned. Lisa and I have been married for 5 years. She's part of this family. Excluding her feels like a slap in the face, not just to her, but to me as well. When I told James I wouldn't attend without Lisa, he accused me of being dramatic and trying to punish him for something out of his control. He said I was letting Lisa's hurt feelings ruin his wedding day. Our parents are divided. My dad says I'm right to stand by my wife and that James and Emily are being unreasonable. My mom, on the other hand, thinks I should just keep the peace. Lisa has been deeply hurt by the whole ordeal. She feels disrespected and excluded and told me she would never have done something like this if the roles were reversed. She's trying to be supportive of whatever decision I make, but I can tell she'd be devastated if I went to the wedding without her. It's put a strain on our marriage because she feels like I'm not standing up for her enough. At the same time, James is my only sibling, and I've always thought we were close. I know skipping his wedding will hurt him, and it could permanently damage our relationship. Part of me wonders if I should just swallow my pride and go for his sake, but another part of me feels like this isn't just about one day, it's about standing up for what's right. I don't want to ruin my brother's wedding, but I also don't want to betray my wife or compromise my values. So, am I the astronaut for refusing to go to my brother's wedding without Lisa?
Am I the asshole for disinviting my sick grandmother from my wedding? My grandmother is my only living grandparent, and she's my hero. When I was a kid, she beat stage 4 lung cancer, and when I had my own, less severe diagnosis of cancer, she was there for me even more than my parents. I hope people believe me when I say this. This decision to exclude her from my wedding is not one made lightly. However, I genuinely think it is to be for the best. My fiancé and I are getting married in about 8 months. Been engaged for close to 3. We hadn't intended for such a long engagement, but it's where the dice fell. Initially, when planning the wedding, I absolutely wanted my grandmother there and sent her an invite. But about a year ago, she had a massive stroke. To make this absolutely clear, everything was planned and booked before she had the stroke. She's 90 years old, and the family was kind of astonished she even made it. However, she's been in really bad shape since. On her good days, she still needs a walker to get around, though oftentimes requires a wheelchair. Unfortunately, our wedding takes place in an old historical location that is not wheelchair friendly. The ceremony space is quite a walk across a field from the reception area. All in all, not very suitable for my grandmother in her current state. I tried to see if we could move the venue, but the wedding was already paid off, and the contract states we can't get a refund if we choose to cancel. So by moving locations, we'd be out $20,000. We're paying for the wedding ourselves and scraped together every dime we had to pay for it. So this isn't a hit we could financially bear. It broke my heart immensely coming to the realization my grandmother couldn't be there, especially worrying if she tried to push herself, it could harm her health further. And she refuses to accept it. She insists she'll make it there with her walker, but she can't even get through a grocery store trip, let alone an Aldi event. I suggested we have someone in front of the ceremony video call her, or have us married at a courthouse beforehand so she could be there for the actual marriage and still use the wedding as more of a celebration party. Hell, I would have been willing to get married in the damn parking lot. However, she's the type of stubborn and headstrong person to refuse to accept her limitations, and she was practically offended I would entertain the idea of ruining my own wedding or suggest she is less of capable of being there in person, and is now very upset with me that I've said if she refuses all of my compromises, then it may be for the best she not attend. Family members are equally angry with me for crushing her hopes to see me get married and have been giving me loads of shit, even though they're well aware of her condition and agree it would be virtually impossible to have her be there. The only one on my side is my fiance, which has me wondering if I really am the asshole for not letting her try to attend despite knowing it likely won't end well. Am I? I'll answer some frequently asked questions that I've seen so far. She does have a part-time caregiver come by her house a couple of days a week to bring groceries and take her to appointments and stuff like that. However, she's kind of a small lady herself and isn't even available the day of the wedding. We've looked into hiring or renting assistance of any kind. But we put almost all of our money towards the venue, which my parents insisted on for a centralized location. They've been taking control of the wedding and I don't have the best relationship with them. And it was one of the most affordable. No one in the family has yet to volunteer to help either physically the day of or financially. So we're pretty much on our own. My main concern comes from her potentially pushing herself too hard to get around, which has happened after the stroke, and put her health at further risk because she's trying to continue living as she did before the stroke and has been hospitalized for it.
Am I the arsehole for fat shaming my friend? Story time. So me and this girl who we will call Amy aren't really friends. The only reason we speak is because we're in the same friendship group. And to be honest, if it wasn't for that, we just wouldn't be friends. Amy is the kind of person that believes she has the right to speak her mind, even when giving that opinion could upset someone. I'm so excited to try this, by the way. And this includes giving unsolicited advice, you know, those types of people. This is nice. We barely interacted, right? And I'd never ever had problems with this girl until last week. Hello, glow. So I recently lost a really close family member and I was not doing well during this period, but I put myself into therapy and I'm doing so much better now. You know how it goes sometimes when you're going through a rough time, you're not looking after yourself, and I ended up putting on quite a bit of weight. And I'm not gonna lie, this change in my physicality is also another reason why I had been avoiding my friends. I wasn't feeling my confidence, so last week I really built myself up to go see my friends again, but Amy just keeps on making comments about my appearance. She's saying, God, you've just really expanded. Now, I found these comments a little bit ironic. From conversations that we've had in group settings, I know for a fact that Amy has always struggled with her weight. She always mentions that she knows that she is a bigger girl and has said herself that this is something that she really wants to work on and change. Amy keeps bringing me up. Like, God, you really mislead people. You're so much bigger in person. She's calling me a catfish from my online profiles. She literally handed me leaflets from gyms that she thinks I should sign up to. She's telling me that I need to wash my hair more often, that she's seen that Pilates can really help change your body composition. Which, do you know what, Amy? I was born with this body and Pilates might be able to help change it, but you were born a bitch and nothing can change that. So, first, I'm ignoring her, but a lot of my friends are sticking up for me. They're telling her to stop digging and stop poking me. But apparently Amy had decided that my appearance was the most interesting thing we could be talking about that evening. She sat that whole evening just sipping on her wine. She brought Adele up, which, leave Adele out of this. She goes, remember when Adele was fat? Well, you look like Adele when she was fat. Which, God, what a nice compliment. Listen, I'm a strong person, but at this point it was going on for literal hours and I was starting to get really, really down. It was really affecting my mood. And I'm like, do you know what? Screw this. I'm going to stick up for myself. And that was when I stood up very slowly and very calmly. And I said, I've been taking medication that's been causing my weight gain. What's your excuse? Amy's face immediately went red. She got up and walked off into the other room. And she's not said a single thing about anyone else's appearance since. So what do you think? Am I the arsehole here?
My best friend only keeps me around because I'm fat. I've always been the chunky, pudgy, overweight, chubby girl in the group. Now, our friend group consisted of 4 girls in high school. Once we graduated college, 3 of us stuck together while the other one was kind of out. Then the other 2 girls in the group got boyfriends, and I was on my own. Eventually, they stopped reaching out to me and it was like I didn't even exist. Now, let me be very clear about something. I have accepted that I'm the chunky girl of the group. I never get jealous. I do not envy them. They are all very attractive and skinny, but I just don't care about that. I'm happy that they love their bodies, but I feel okay in mine. But of course, I knew that I needed to get healthier, so I signed up to the gym. Around this time, one of my girlfriends broke up with her boyfriend and she started coming around again. And I accepted her friendship again, but I told her that it hurt my feelings that she completely ignored me once she got a boyfriend. She promised that she would never do it again, and we started going to the gym together. She's the one that always gets hits on. The guys compliment her. It's like I don't even exist. In fact, they ask me for her number when she doesn't want to give it to them. You see where this is going? Decided to get dressed up all cute and we went to a bar together. As usual, she always invites me to go to her place to get ready. Nope, she can never come to mine. So I lugged all my clothes and makeup all the way to her place. And as we're getting ready, she starts suggesting that I change my outfit. I felt really cute in my outfit. It was a sleek black blazer with the matching bottoms, tight black tank top, and gold jewelry. But as soon as she saw my outfit, she said I looked way too formal. And then she spent the next 30 minutes trying to convince me to change and put on one of her tight-ass dresses. I asked her if she was in her right mind, considering her dress wouldn't even fit my right thigh. Then she said that I needed to calm down and that we should just go get drinks. And then she ended up copying my outfit. She wore a gray blazer with skinny jeans. When we get to the bar, I started having fun right away. I saw one of my besties from work. Her and I get along so well. This is when I noticed my bestie was really quiet. But as usual, she's only waiting for a guy to come hit on her. Finally, some random dude comes up to her and asks her if she wants a drink. She's like, oh my god, thank you so much. Then she looks at me and says, it's always good to have you around, you know? That's when she tells me that it's always good having me around, you know? And I did not know what she meant at the time. When the random guy shows up with her drink, and then she does the thing that she always does. She flirts with these guys, puts her hand on their shoulder, tends to laugh at their stupid nasty ass jokes, in the hopes of getting a second drink. Me, on the other hand, was dancing and having fun with my coworker. That's when the random guy says, hey you need to tell your best friend to give me her phone number. And I responded, I mean she will if she thinks you're hot. That's when my best friend whispers into this guy's ear, but loud enough for me to hear, oh, she's just upset because I'm the one that gets hit on and not her. You know, because she's a little bit chubby. It didn't even make me angry. I already knew she thought this, but it stung. Like the fatty I am, I invited my coworker to a nice dinner. I left my bestie at the bar without a car. I also sent her a text saying I heard what you said about me to the guy, and if that's what you really think about me, then this is not a friendship I need to be pursuing. The next morning I had about 20 missed calls from her, and so I blocked her. If she really wanted to, she could have come to my house. Do you think I did the right thing? Self-care sister out.
Would I be in the wrong if I move out of our apartment knowing my fiance and his mom can't afford it without me?
I'm 29 female, and my fiance, maybe ex, 27 male, have been living together for about 1.5 years. Fiance got his undergraduate degree, worked for a couple years, and then decided to get an MBA, which is how he ended up in our city. We moved in together after he finished his MBA program. Fiance is from the Midwest, and his mom has always wanted him to move back. When he told her he was staying here, she was heartbroken. I went to college and got my degree in the STEM field. After I graduated, I got a job with my current company and moved to the city where we currently live. It's a big international company with multiple locations in the US and international. I love my job. I like the company that I work for, and the pay is pretty good. All in all, a pretty good deal. During COVID, my office shut down and we all went work from home. After COVID, they decided not to reopen the offices, so I've been 100% work from home since early 2020. I currently make considerably more than him, mainly because I've been working for 7 years and I'm in tech. I had been living by myself in a 1-bedroom apartment and just had my office set up in the living room since it was just me. When we moved in together, we decided to get a 2-bedroom apartment so I could use the extra room as an office. Because of this, I was paying 2/3 of the rent and he paid 1/3. We split everything else 50-50. So the problem started this past May. Fiance's mom told him that she wanted to move to our city to be closer to him. She asked if she could stay with us while she looked for a job and got settled. She's a teacher, so I figured she'd be able to get a teaching job pretty quickly. Because of that, I didn't really mind her staying with us, as I figured it would just be for a couple months over the summer. Since I thought it would be only for a couple months, I moved my office into the corner of our bedroom and my fiance bought a bed to put in the second bedroom. The problem is, she never applied for any teaching positions and has been living with us for 6 months now. She and I have really been struggling with each other since she moved in. I can't make her understand that I work full time. She constantly interrupts me while I'm working, which is bad enough, but she even interrupts when I'm on Teams calls. She always asks me to take her places because she doesn't like to drive in our city. She has pretty outdated views of gender roles and is constantly giving me a hard time for not doing more around the house and making my fiance help with chores, do his own laundry, etc. The constant criticism and insults are just really wearing me down, and I hate having my office shoved in the corner of the bedroom. Back in September, I told my fiance that since it looks like his mom is going to stay a while, we should split the rent 3 ways. He told me that she can't afford that since she has to conserve money until she gets a job. I told him I wasn't happy paying for an extra bedroom that I can't use, so he finally said that we could do 50-50 split. I could afford to pay the extra, but I hate the idea of funding her lifestyle. Every time I complain about her or the situation, he says he agrees but doesn't know what to do because he can't kick his mom out. And he won't talk to her about the way that she treats me or how she behaves. When I ask what the long-term plan is, he just says he doesn't know. I've thought about giving him an ultimatum or tell her that she has to leave, but I think he just ended up resenting me for essentially putting his mom out on the street. So one of my girlfriends is losing her roommate at the end of February. Our lease renews June 1st. I'm very strongly considering moving out of our current apartment and moving in with her. I can afford to pay my part of the rent on our current apartment and also half of the rent at my friend's apartment. It's not ideal, but I'm not a big spender, so it's doable. The issue is, if he and his mom aren't able to pay 1/3 of the rent each, there is no way that they could cover the whole thing on their own. But I can't live like this anymore, so I'm pretty sure this is what I'll do, but I wanted to see if I'm in the wrong for leaving them like this.
I'm pregnant and I don't know how to be civil with my ex because he's causing a lot of drama and I just don't know what the best way to deal with it is. I let him know as soon as I got confirmation from the doctor. At first, he didn't want to be involved, but then a week later, he called me saying he wanted to be involved. The issue I'm having is that he brought up that his entire family doesn't like me and neither do his friends because I left him. All that really happened is I left because I was no longer happy, and honestly, he was controlling and I wasn't happy where we were living. He took me 70 miles from my hometown and was not listening when I told him I wanted to leave. It took me having to pack my stuff and leave while he was asleep to get out of there. I had no idea I was pregnant when I left. I'm sure he probably didn't tell them all of that, which is why it looks to them like I just left out of the blue for no reason. Just the fact that they all hate me proves to me that that's what he must have done. I still wanted to do the right thing regardless and allow him to be in his daughter's life if he wants to be. However, I'm not sure how to navigate this with all of the drama he's causing. I don't care what his friends and family think, and I'm tired of hearing about it. All that matters is our daughter, and I can't seem to get him to focus on that. He's the one accusing me of creating drama. I think he's just mad that I left and he wants to try to control things, and he's mad that I'm not letting him. I've asked him not to contact me now, but I know we need to talk about this. How do you deal with someone who is creating drama while trying to do what is best for your child? What would be the best way to deal with him? I thought about asking him to just give up his rights if this is how it's going to be. Am I wrong for asking my girlfriend for monetary equality in a relationship? My girlfriend, 24 female, and I, 25 male, were having discussions about how our life are going to be in the event we decided to get married. We have been together for more than a year. I said that I prefer that both of us contribute to the marriage monetarily. It does not have to be 50-50, but I said what is important is that both of us should be expected to contribute to the marriage. I give an example, which is my parents, myself, and that they have their own monetary responsibilities that they split among themselves for the family, as both of them have their own job. However, my girlfriend argued that this is the responsibility of the husband, to provide solely for the family, even if the wife also has her own job. She said that the wife's money is for herself and it is up to her whether to contribute or not, and that the wife should not be expected to contribute. She explains about how every husband should have the provider's mentality. She explained her family does that and her father is the sole provider. However, her mother is a housewife with no job. She also mentioned that it should be common sense for the husband to be the sole provider with no expectation from the wife to be contributing monetarily. If the wife wanted to contribute monetarily, it is up to her. There should be no expectation from the wife. When hearing about my views, she totally disagreed with my view that both husband and wife should contribute to the family. Now she is really mad at me and said that it's not her fault for her to have a view like that. Almost felt like she was looking down on me at the moment. Right now, I'm feeling very confused. Is she mad because I have a very contrasting view with her, or the fact that I will not become what she hoped for me to be?